The arrogant boxer humiliated the girl in the ring, but then the impossible happened. In the neon-lit underbelly of Las Vegas, where dreams clashed like fists in the night, Victor Kane reigned supreme. He was the undisputed king of the ring, a towering figure with chiseled muscles and a sneer that could cut deeper than any punch. Victor's arrogance wasn't just a trait, it was his armor, forged from a childhood of abandonment and street fights that had turned him into a machine of raw power. At 28, he had never lost a bout, his record a flawless 32-0, each victory punctuated by taunts that left opponents broken not just in body, but in spirit. "I'm untouchable," he'd boast to the cameras, his emerald eyes gleaming with contempt. No one dares challenge the storm. Across the city, in a modest gym tucked away in the suburbs, trained Elena Voss. At 25, she was a vision of quiet determination, her raven hair tied back in a ponytail that swayed like a pendulum during her relentless workouts. Elena's name meant, shining light, a fitting tribute to her spirit, which burned brightly despite the shadows of her past. Orphaned young, she had found solace in boxing, not for glory, but for survival. Her trainer, an old-timer named Marcus, saw in her the grace of a dancer fused with the ferocity of a lioness. "You've got heart, kid," he'd say, wiping sweat from her brow. "That's what wins fights, not just brute force." The buzz started when Elena, an underdog with a 15-2 record, challenged Victor to a mixed-gender exhibition match. It was unheard of, a woman stepping into the ring with the heavyweight champ. The media frenzy was immediate. David versus Goliath, the headlines screamed, but Victor dismissed it with a laugh. "A girl. In my ring. This'll be over in one round. I'll humiliate her so bad, she'll never lace up gloves again." His words went viral, fueling ticket sales for the sold-out event at the MGM Grand. Fight night arrived under a canopy of flashing lights and roaring crowds. Victor entered first, his robe embroidered with gold, strutting like a peacock. He flexed for the cameras, his tattooed arms rippling under the spotlights. Elena followed, her entrance understated, her eyes locked forward, ignoring the jeers from Victor's fans. She wore simple black shorts and a tank top, her gloves a faded red from years of use. As they faced off in the center of the ring, Victor leaned in close during the referee's instructions. "You're pretty, sweetheart," he whispered, his breath hot against her ear. "Too bad I'm gonna mess up that face." The bell rang, and Victor exploded forward like a freight train. His jabs were lightning fast, each one aimed to dominate. Elena dodged the first few, her footwork a ballet of evasion, but Victor's reach was overwhelming. In the first round, he cornered her against the ropes and unleashed a barrage. A right hook grazed her cheek, drawing blood. The crowd gasped as he followed with a mocking uppercut that sent her stumbling. "Is that all you've got, princess?" he yelled, playing to the audience. He danced around her, feigning punches, humiliating her with every taunt. "Go back to the kitchen where you belong." By the end of round 1, Elena was bruised, her left eye swelling shut. The humiliation burned deeper than the pain. Whispers rippled through the arena, "This is a mismatch. She's done." Victor sat in his corner, smirking at his trainer. Easy money. The girl's got spirit, but no chance. Round 2 began with Victor's overconfidence peaking. He toyed with her, letting her land a few light jabs just to laugh them off. "That tickles," he bellowed. But Elena's eyes held a fire that Victor couldn't extinguish. She remembered Marcus's words, "The ring isn't just about strength, it's about the soul." Drawing from a well of resilience, she countered with a swift combination, a left hook to his ribs, followed by a right cross that actually staggered him. The crowd murmured in surprise. Victor roared in fury. No one had ever made him wobble. He charged, his punches wild now, fueled by rage. He landed a devastating body shot that doubled Elena over, then a haymaker that dropped her to one knee. The referee started the count. 1, 2, 3. The arena held its breath. Victor paraded around the ring, arms raised in premature victory. "See, told you she'd fold." But Elena rose. Slowly, defiantly, her legs trembling but her gaze unbreakable. Blood trickled from her lip, mixing with sweat, but she nodded to the ref. "I'm good." The impossible was stirring, a whisper of something greater than physical might. Round 3 turned the tide. Victor, sensing her vulnerability, pressed harder. He humiliated her further, grabbing her glove mid-clinch and whispering, "Quit now, doll. Save yourself the embarrassment." The crowd booed, some turning against his cruelty. Elena, however, channeled the pain. Her mind flashed to her orphan days, the foster homes where she was told she'd amount to nothing. Each taunt from Victor echoed those voices, igniting a fury she had long suppressed. With a surge of adrenaline, she exploded. A feint left, then a crushing right hook to Victor's jaw. Crack! He reeled back, stunned. The arena erupted. Elena pressed, her punches precise, targeting his midsection where she knew his guard was weak from overconfidence. Victor swung wildly, but she slipped under, landing an uppercut that snapped his head back. Blood sprayed from his nose, the first time in years he'd tasted his own defeat. The bell ended the round, but Victor was shaken. In his corner, his trainer barked, "What the hell? Focus." Victor wiped the blood, his arrogance cracking like glass. "She's nothing," he muttered, but doubt crept in. Rounds 4 and 5 blurred into a war of wills. Victor's power was undeniable, he landed blows that would fell lesser fighters. Elena's ribs ached, her vision blurred, but she refused to yield. She humiliated him now, not with words, but with endurance. Each time he thought he had her, she'd counter, her speed outmatching his bulk. The crowd chanted her name, Elena. Elena. By round 6, Victor was exhausted, his taunts silenced. Elena, though battered, moved with purpose. She saw the fear in his eyes, the realization that he wasn't untouchable. In a pivotal moment, she ducked a swing and unleashed a combination that echoed through the ring: jab, cross, hook. Victor crumpled to the canvas, the mighty giant felled. The referee counted. 1, 2, 3. Victor struggled, his body betraying him. At 8, he rose unsteadily, but Elena was relentless. She closed in, not with hatred, but with resolve. A final overhand right connected, and Victor went down again. This time, he didn't get up. The bell hadn't rung, the fight was over. Knockout. The arena exploded in chaos. Elena stood victorious, her arms raised not in triumph, but in quiet relief. Paramedics rushed to Victor, who lay dazed, staring at the lights above. The impossible had happened. The arrogant boxer, humbled by the girl he sought to humiliate. In the aftermath, Elena helped Victor to his feet. The crowd hushed as she extended her glove. "You're a hell of a fighter," she said softly. Victor, tears mixing with blood, nodded. I'm sorry. You taught me something tonight." For the first time, his voice held no arrogance, only respect. Elena's victory wasn't just about the win, it shattered barriers. Women flooded gyms, inspired by her story. Victor, transformed, retired his ego and became a mentor, training underdogs like Elena once was. Their paths crossed again, not as rivals, but as friends. In a quiet cafe months later, Victor confessed, "You didn't just beat me, you saved me from myself."